Hello. Welcome
Alright.
your beautiful faces. What's this? Finn, you look weird.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, this
That's my Finn.
is that way. This is Harry. Harry, introduce yourself.
Are we live? Is this happening?
We live, baby.
Oh my, this is like Monday Night Raw.
Say hello.
And we're live.
Say hello to all the beautiful people of the Just
Um,
Podcast channel.
hello everybody on the Just Podcast channel. I'm
All three
Harry.
of them.
All three of them. I'm sure there's more than three, Shane. I'm sure there's, 6. We'll go double on it.
Right.
Hello everybody, I'm Harry. Be generous to me. I'm new.
Yes. Right.
That's
Well,
my
yes.
turn.
As you can tell, there is no Finn, and Harry has taken his place for the moment. But we have our first non-Just Podcast member actually on the podcast, besides Chelsea ringing me, and I picked up, and she wasn't happy.
Man, I feel honoured, man. I feel this is a big privilege. Honestly, I was going to say this to you before the podcast, and I decided not to. I feel just as nervous now doing this as I did walking out to my first fight. Like, genuinely.
I wouldn't. all the previous ones, basically before Finn and I even start, like with their like, I will talk about this, that, and the other, and then usually we get a tier list at the end, and then we just turn on the podcast and like, if we go off on a tangent, we go off on a tangent.
Man, I like that. It's a nice chilled vibe.
Yeah, it's just a recorded conversation. It's just everyone can now see our faces. That's basically it.
Hello. I apologise.
But,
I would have.
You have made me aware that there are some things that you would like to be mentioned. Any shout outs, plugs, whatever,
Oh mate,
You can do them
shout out to Callum. that's an inside joke right there. No, so yeah, no, on a serious note, so I've told a few people, because Shane and I have been planning to do this for a while now, and it's just logistical nightmare really with the whole COVID and both really busy. So I've told a few close people to me I'm planning to do this with Shane, and they all kind of the similar question. They come back to us and say like, "Oh, you're gonna talk about this certain subject?" And if you don't know what that is, then don't worry about it. That's absolutely fine. If you do know if you do know what I'm referring to, the answer is no. This isn't what this podcast is about. I very much want to come on and just catch up and chat with Shane, because he and I've been buddies for a long time now.
Very long.
But yeah, that if you're tuning in and you want me to talk shit about a certain company or identity, sorry to disappoint you. That's not what this is about. We are moving forward and we're buzzing. So yeah, it's all positive from my end, and yeah, I'm happy to be here, Shane.
Lovely, man. Lovely, nice one. Well, I think there's no point pussyfooting around.
Never.
Again, you did mention that you had just a couple of things that you wanted to talk about. So I say, let's just start a conversation.
This is what we do. This
Exactly.
is the bit off the dome.
Exactly.
Bit off the dome.
Harry, what
No,
you
well,
got
yeah.
then? What's on your mind recently?
Oh, dude, it's been a bloody mental few weeks, let alone few years. No, like again. So I don't talk to many people. I have a very close knit, friends, and then outside of that, people I just kind of like acquaintances is probably the best word.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a lot of people know what's going on in my life recently. So kind of alluded to recently, kind of moving into my own apartment in Winchester in the near future, which I'm quite excited but nervous for. That's on the agenda. But when it comes to kind of building the brand, you can add to the footballer, MMA, theatre, and all that. I am in talks with a few friends to do kind of like a YouTube comedy show.
Okay.
And the only way I can describe it is, you ever seen the Jericho But I'm Chris Jericho show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's trying to make it along those kind of lines of that kind of comedy and that kind of
Okay.
kind of like camera angles and whatnot. So it's myself, I think there's 2 or 3 camera people who are trying to get involved, and then 1 or 2 other people to like appear. But it could be like short snippet webisodes.
Yeah.
So that's like the main kind of. Because why not, right, Shane? Why not? Let's branch out a little bit, you know.
Fuck it.
Have
Have you got like a name or anything for it? Or like.
Well, I was gonna completely rip off Jericho, but I don't want to do that. And so the first kind of 3 or 4, because it's going to be quite short. It's going to be like 10-minute kind of webisodes. Yeah. Like that's the idea for it. So like the type, and it's based around kind of, it's me, it's my life, it's my like kind of. It's based on life events that happen for me, but exaggerated completely.
Okay.
Right, like for the comedy factor. So the title originally was "This Is Harry," but I didn't like that. So I'm trying to. It's not official, but we're trying to push for "This Is Kruger." Because why not? Right? Why not? Right. So yeah, we're in. Yeah, the YouTube channel should be up like in the next week or so, and then as soon as the whole lockdown's over, that's when we're going to push for filming, really.
Yeah. Well, you know, whenever the channel does go up, let us know. We'll.
Oh, I appreciate it.
We'll shout out to all 6 of our fans.
Oh, absolutely, and Chelsea.
No, but to be fair, that sounds like a good idea. Obviously, stuff like that, like it can spawn a lot of things. And like I imagine you could meet a lot of different people doing that. Everyone, other people's gonna want to get involved and shit like that. That sounds good though.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, I build it up to be quite like high budget and like, Hollywood, but it's not. It's not. It's just, if you can, after kind of my last fight, which was back in November now, kind of, I haven't done a whole lot. So, like, again, January, December, February, kind of haven't done a lot. So, that was kind of, new challenge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I haven't done a lot, summed up my, 2019, so. But no, fair enough, man. I think it's always good in life to have something to work towards. Like,
yeah.
So with myself, I had, this podcast sort of thing to work towards. Like, obviously, last year I wasn't earning that much money. And at one point, I was there like, fuck it, I'm gonna get the microphone and I'm just gonna wing it. And like, you do have to really invest in you have to gamble to get somewhere. Like if you don't gamble, if you play in your comfort zone, you're not really gonna grow. You're not gonna progress or anything like that. Like you really got to push yourself to get somewhere. And now it's good. Obviously, trying something new, starting a comedy show, and I've done this podcast. And I'm sure there's 1,000 other people who have done 1,000 other things, but like. Now, to be fair, I'd be quite excited to that. I'd want to get involved, being I'm massively egotistical. I'd want to get involved because I reckon it'd be fucking hilarious.
Oh, dude, it's kind of I won't go into too much detail about it. What the ongoing gag we have in it is remember how you and I would be walking around town. And somebody be speed walking or running in front of us, join in. That's the ongoing. So yeah, we've got it's. I want to say we wrote these scripts for it, but it's really not. It's really kind of this is the idea or event that happened.
Yeah.
These are the people involved with it. This is what I can remember what was said. How do we make it funny?
No, that's fair enough. I mean, because then, kind of that way, you don't have to make anything up. You just have to kind of alter a memory, basically.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the other one I'm trying to push for is the 10 or 15 minutes of the show when a lot of these kind of ideas, you or Carl. It was situations with you or Carl.
Right.
This next one was kind of do you remember we came out of Smith's and it was tipping down with rain and we hid in that little garden kind of children garden shed outside the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be an entire episode in itself. Like that's so, so it's just trying to find like the right like because obviously we can't just go to Smith's and just sit in there for like I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Yeah.
Like, an hour or two maybe. People will get annoyed, man. So we're gonna have to like try and like probably buy one and kind of sit there and kind of camera cut stuff and
Yeah. Well, that kind of revolves around to like the whole investing thing. Like, if you got to buy one, like, as far as I remember, those things aren't exactly that cheap. Like, they do cost
so
a
it's just
bit.
steal it.
I
Don't steal it.
I don't condone that.
I don't condone that either. I don't condone that either. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it all comes down like you gotta spend money to make money, innit?
Yeah.
It's
No,
the same
100%.
sort of thing. Like you gotta invest your time to get where you need to be. Certain steps in it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
no, I'm excited. I definitely keep up with something like that. Whenever you start, as long as you let me know, then I can let
Yeah, of course.
the beautiful people know. But
You people.
yeah, Marilyn Manson, beautiful people.
That's a tune. That's an
Yeah.
absolute tune.
It's too
Yeah.
good.
Brings back SmackDown
Oh,
theme song.
have you?
Yeah.
Do you still watch wrestling?
Oh, I love it, man. I love it.
See, because
I think.
Go on.
Sorry, you good?
No, I was just gonna make. I was gonna say I follow it, but I haven't watched it in ages.
Yeah.
But that's,
I think for me, kind of where I stopped playing and stopped kind of watching football. Like wrestling's always been there for me since like such a young age. And I'm invested now as I've ever been. What's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm huge into it. I don't think I'd ever get back into a wrestling ring personally. I think that part of my, I mean, you touched on kind of like you got to like challenge yourself, branch out and try different things. I'm all for that, and in the same breath, I'm also don't go back on yourself. You've done something, and if that's the end of the chapter, in my opinion, like that's the chapter done, and you move on to what's next. Obviously, people see it differently,
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, still watch it hugely. Still as mad as ever.
I mean, yeah, no, I keep up like a little bit. I've only so you know the universe mode thing that we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Just as an update and suggestions for people in lockdown. If you've got WWE, whichever one, doesn't matter. So basically, me, Harry, and two other people that we know, we've started on universe mode, and we've all picked a brand. So I'm Raw. Harry, you're NXT UK.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then someone else is SmackDown and someone else is NXT. And you draft people. To be fair, this doesn't really have to be just on WWE. I've got a friend from work who's doing this on like FIFA basically. And
oh mate,
yeah, you make your own teams, or in our case, you make your own roster, and then you make your own match, like book your own matches and stuff like that. You could do rivalries, tag teams, and stuff like that. It's quite entertaining, and it can consume a lot of your time. But basically, so I've been playing a lot of WWE, and I've been banging out the story mode, which
as you do.
Yeah, which it's good, but the cutscenes are too long, and I start getting I start losing interest. So
yeah.
But
is that on the 2K one?
Yeah. So I bought 2K20. It got reduced from 85 or 86 quid down to like 16.
Yeah, you do that for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I bought it. I've been playing that loads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things on there that I didn't know were happening on the game. Like people, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, you know what, Harry? I started off with a thought, and then I kept talking, and then the thought went that way.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. And it happens, man. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, I think as Shane says, like, if you can get kind of a group of core people together and kind of just make your own entertainment, really. On video games especially, it's always good fun, and it's a logistical nightmare to try and get everybody in the same place at the same time.
Oh yeah.
But we get there.
I mean,
we get there.
Not that,
not
that everyone's busy at the moment, but
well, I think one of those people would yell at me if I didn't give him a quick shout out for joining in. So Shane, I hope you don't mind.
go for it.
This is a personal shout to Mozza. Love you, love you. I know him, and he'll be annoyed that I didn't shout him out earlier. So sorry, Mozza, mate.
I've seen on his Instagram, he's he's literally bought like 10 new football shirts.
Oh fuck!
What is that about?
There's a story in that.
Well, I've brought it up now, so we have to talk about it.
Oh no! So, all right, I'm gonna take you back a year. So, do you remember when he came down to Bournemouth? When Mozza came down to Bournemouth last year?
Yeah.
He so like a week or two before he came down, he was like, "Oh yeah, I collect these football shirts. I've only got a few, but I collect these football shirts."
Mm.
And we were playing. I think we were playing on FIFA or something like that. And I brought out Keno Kruger. He was my incarnation of Roy Keane, who I absolutely love. And I had no football shirts at the time. I sold them all. The boss was like, "Hey, I'll give you the Celtic shirt. You get Keane print on the back of it."
Okay.
So that's currently in my wardrobe. But yeah, so as the year went on, he kind of bought one here, one there. Just little top ups and whatnot. But ever since lockdown, he's gone mental. He's gone absolutely mental.
I saw on his Instagram, like, he bought that like was it the China one, like the black one with the dragons on it, which by the way looked sick. But then, like, I saw today that he got like Inter Milan, like a couple of other teams as well.
Do you see? He put it on his Instagram, but he got a So I bought him a shirt for his birthday.
Okay.
Birthday's in a few days.
Happy birthday, Mom.
So happy birthday, Mother. I guess him. So he so like there's a website. I think it's called like Discount Football Shirts or something like that. You can just Google it. You'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
And I spoke to his other half. This is probably last Sunday now. I was like, "Hey, I want to get Mozza a birthday present. What's his address?" So of course she gives me his address, and I'm looking at these football shirts, and some of them cost like 100, 200 quid. And it's like Mozza, I love you, but not £200 worth. So I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, what shirt can I get him that will remind him of me? It's funny. So Shane, I bought myself Africa 2007 shirt. It's the 2007-2009 South Africa shirt. Didn't realise it. It's got 3/4 length sleeves. He loves it.
3/4 length sleeves. Oh no. Pause.
Oh,
right, hang on.
Shane.
Oh nah. We're live.
Shane. We live.
I don't. Well, it's saying the audio is still coming through.
I'm here.
But
I'm here. I've just, that's fucking annoying. That is.
Oh, here we go.
Can we cut that out?
Nah, staying in. It's going.
No.
It's going in raw.
This is live, champ.
Yeah.
I had a FaceTime call there from a family member, but it's fine.
Ah, okay.
It'll be alright.
I mean, I was gonna say, feel free to take the call. We can pause if you want.
Nah, it's fine, mate. It's fine.
All of this is staying in.
That's fine. Yeah, no, it's live, pal. It's live. So yeah, no, he's got a bit mental in his shirts. Mozza has recently, and he showed me his bank account recently. I mean, it's healthy. He's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's alive.
He's breathing.
It's definitely breathing. But yeah, he gets I feel quite bad about this, to be fair, because we play pro clubs, and obviously you can pick your own like football shirt on there, and unless it's South Africa or Orlando City, I'm not interested. And he keeps changing it to like quite nice kits, and I temper tantrum. I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Who changes the back? Uh,
You got to pull rank. That's what it is.
Absolutely, man. I'm playing any. I don't know. I don't think I'm older, but yeah. No, so that is the Mozza story about shirts. He's got a vast collection of them that his mom, when he went back, so at the start of lockdown, he was with his other half in Preston, and he went back to Burnley a couple weeks after. And I don't know if they were there originally or not, but he blames his mom for this. All his football shirts are in a black bin liner in his wardrobe.
Ah, right.
You bought that like a couple of grand on shirts, I imagine. They're just there, oh, fuck it, I don't want it anymore.
Piss off. Fucking
hell. Yeah, so yeah, Mozza, yeah, love him, absolutely love him.
But speaking of money, you know what comes with money?
Money.
Harry? You know what comes with money, Harry?
Money.
And this is a topic that I know you also wanted to touch upon. It's hard work.
Yeah. 100%.
So
100%.
Yeah, we obviously these days it's a bit different with the whole bloody lockdown going on. But actually, to be fair, I think if there was ever a time to focus on something that you always wanted to do, I think now's probably the best time, because it's not like, oh, I'm out all the time or I'm at work all the time. Obviously, if you're still at work, then you're still at work. But like, if you've got something that you want to do, and you didn't have the time to do it before, I think lockdown is probably the best time to start doing it, because it's not like there's a lot in your way. It's not like there's a lot distracting you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think if there was ever a time to start buckling down and really get into something, like, it might not even be something that you wanted to do initially, but like it might just be something like now that you want to learn. I'm sure everyone's heard this about 6,000 times. We've been in lockdown for it's been just over 3 months now. So 2 months, whatever.
Long. That's a long time.
It's been, imagine it's been locked. We've had to stay inside for like 2 months. Fucking crazy.
Been nice, man.
But yeah, if there was ever a time to want to learn something and want to get good at something, it's probably now. When you've got a bit more time. But the main point there being, lockdown or not, you have to work hard. You got to push. Always.
Yeah, I totally agree. Think kind of spawning that kind of idea, that mindset. I like to think people realize it on their own, that if you want stuff in life, you have to work for it. Unless you're very, very fortunate. But yeah, I mean, Shane, you tell me, like, when did that dawn on you? Was there like a situation or memory that you can remember where you're like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to work harder to, like, not in a bad way, like you just realize, like, I'm gonna have to work,
No, of course. I think for me personally, it only comes around when it's something that I know that I actually do want to do. I think a good example for me was football. So when we started playing football, God, I don't even know how. It wasn't ages ago. It was like a few years ago. Like, this is when I'd stop. So I didn't play football in secondary school because I knew I was dog shit at it. So I just stopped.
Weren't you linesman for a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't need anyone to tell me that I was shit at football. I could tell myself that I know I'm not very good. So obviously, like, in my head, I was there like, this is something that I would actually, take time to like get decent at, because I was still at sixth form, and like even a little bit after, I was there like, I actually want to go and like improve on this. So I used to, like, obviously we went a few times. Just used to take like a few hours out of a day just to go like actually work on, keep like shooting, shit. Keep like shooting, like ball skills, like. You basically taught me to use my left foot, and now like it's almost like second nature. And even like to this day now, like I still make sure I go out and do something, like football related, to try and like keep up on it. Obviously, where we can't play football now, it's a bit different. But no, it's definitely, and I think it feels much better as well when someone comes up to you. They're like, oh yeah, you've improved on this a lot. Like, and you might not be able to see it yourself, but if other people can notice it, then there must be something to it. And it is
Yeah,
it's quite fulfilling, and it's quite good to hear, like, because obviously that means that when you've worked hard, like, something like it's actually paid off and you've actually progressed and got somewhere. And but yeah, it does, like, something like that, like it does it brings me a lot of joy to know that I can, like, if I do something and I do work at it, no matter how, like, hard it gets, or like, oh, I'm feeling shit, or like there's no one around to help me or whatever, then at least you got that and you can do it, and you can always push. It's definitely a good mind state to be in. Yeah, it's helped me, and I think probably subconsciously it's probably pushed me to do other things as well. So, like, obviously where I like did football for ages, I'm like, oh, I can work hard, and then that becomes the new standard, and then eventually I'm like, oh well, I could basically just go out and do whatever if I really want to do it. Like, there isn't really anything stopping me. I just have to, like, just gotta put my head to it and work out. Like, now, like, I've recently obviously got a, like, first actual real, like, full-time job, and
hey, congrats, man.
yeah, literally, and it didn't. I mean, when you look at it, it didn't take much, but some people like can't get past that, or like they've got their, obviously everyone's got their own barriers and stuff to deal with, but like before I would have been there like whatever, but now that I understand, like, where working hard can get you, I'm able to I'm able to go out and, like, get a job and do other things that I, like, want to do. It's good. It's a great mindset to be in. It helps, like, inside and outside.
Yeah.
What about
Definitely.
yourself, man? What about yourself? Like, how long?
Fuck.
When did you realize, like, shit, I need to, like, make sure I'm always working hard and stuff like that? Because I think most people I speak to will know you as, like Harry's, like, one of the hardest working people that they know, and I know you take a lot of pride in that as well, which is good. Which is it's a good, and again, it's a good mindset. But yeah, when did you realize that that's where you feel like you should be?
It's not. Yeah, it's nice to hear when people say that. Again, I think for me, Shane, it's probably similar to begin with. Like, football, really. I played football since I was 6 years old. Put it in context, I started off as a keeper, and my team finished bottom. So, I really, yes. But I as I got older, and I started to watch more and understand more about football, it probably around, I would say, year 10, year 11 to what's that, 15, 16? Around that age, I remember playing an 11-side game with people at school, and I remember being on that pitch, and I'm not the quickest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not going to score a goal. I could probably just kick people and get away with it. And yeah, I just remember, I won't name him, but I remember this one player. He kind of like, he and I were playing, like, different team, both centre mids, and he ran me ragged, man. He ran me absolutely ragged off the pitch, and one of the worst games I've ever played. So it dawned on my head. I'm like, right, I really need to get my stamina up. I really need to get fitness up. I need to just improve. So that kind of where, like, it stemmed from. And then as you kind of get older, and probably sixth form was probably when it really, 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 really hit. And again, I remember you got, like, these 15 to 20, especially when your year came in, you got, like, 15 to 20 other people there. And it's like, this person's definitely better than me. But I'm going to work harder.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show people that he might be better for me for 5 minutes, but for the rest 85, I'm going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about kind of outlasting everybody else, really. Especially in a sport environment, just having stamina to stay at that high level for so long. There will be times, Shane, when we finish 6-a-side, or we finished 11-a-side, and I would go home, and you got to put in context with people that don't truly understand. So we started playing 6-a-side 2015, end of 2015.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Something like that. So, and my last game was middle 2018, something like that.
Yeah, again.
So we played about 3 years. We played about 3 years in 6-a-side. That's probably really where we all kind of, the core of us all really bonded together and kind of improved together and got better together. But yeah, for the people that don't actually understand, I remember quite a handful of times where I had either an injury or an illness or something going on that I would literally finish the game, and I would come back home and I would just be dry heaving.
Right.
And I would be so dehydrated and so shattered, I would just go to bed. And this is probably 7 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
But it's all about, okay, you can say he was ill and he had all these injuries and whatnot, but it's just about working hard on the pitch. It always really frustrated me, 11-a-side or 6-a-side, when you've got somebody just kind of milling around the pitch oh, I'll be alright, I'll be alright, I'll be alright. It's just put the work in. If we all put that high level in, we're going to win. And I like winning. To be quite honest about it. So yeah, that's definitely where it kind of spawned for me. And, as you say, having that mindset, even to this day, has led me to do some amazing things, amazing memories. So, it definitely serves you well. And I think a lot of people kind of count themselves out straight off the bat, where they're kind of oh, I can't do this, it's too hard, or, I can't get that qualification, I can't do this, can't do that. I truly believe, you can do anything, attitude, man. You can do anything. You just got to be willing to put the work in.
Yeah, of course.
And I think the final kind of mindset to that kind of bit for me is kind of when I'm not playing anymore, or when I'm not fighting anymore, or 50, 60, 70 years down the line when I'm long gone, I want people to remember me for just working hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a book of other stuff that people remember me for, which I probably shouldn't repeat, but
but we don't worry about that.
Yeah, we don't worry about that, man. We don't worry about that. But yeah, I can't stress enough to people about if you put the work in, you can truly achieve anything. I think.
Yeah. Of course, I think that's what's I say that's what's wrong with society these days. But there's a lot of good and a lot of bad has come from it, because there's people without sounding big-headed. There's people like you and me who can look at someone who's working hard and be there I'm gonna work harder than that person, and I'm gonna I'm good without sounding jealous or anything like that. It's because it's a healthy competition basically, where if it's two people, they're trying to push themselves further than the other one. They're only both gonna grow, obviously, as long as it's within the right context sort of thing, and as long as they do it at healthy competition. If they're fucking, if they're dissing each other you're shit, mate. You're only gonna no one's really getting anywhere.
Why did you? You just reminded me of. I'm gonna say his name. I'm gonna call him out about it. You just reminded me of Luke then, really.
You shit, mate. What are you doing? But yeah, I mean, as long as you can have healthy competition, because that, at the end of the day, when you look at the result, you're just pushing yourself to do better. I think with me, it's not bad. It's not bad or good to compare, but you just have to start being really careful, because if you start to compare, you might. I feel like it can go maybe one or two ways, where you compare and you want to push yourself to be better, or you compare and you're there well, I'm not that good, and then you're only going to go downhill from there. So you do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember hearing this quote ages ago. I'm going to absolutely butcher it now because I don't remember who said it, but I remember hearing this where I think it was DDP actually. I think it was DDP,
Okay.
And he said, the moment you start comparing yourself to others is the moment you lose confidence in yourself.
There you go. It's literally spot on. Like,
And I think there's I won't name names, but there's a certain left footer who used to play in our team, who amazing footballer, absolutely amazing footballer, and I probably kind of took the wrong approach to that.
right,
Where, as you say, you can like compare yourself, but I'm going to be better than him. I'm better than him. I think kind of jealousy plays a factor in that as well.
right.
Um, at times, so it's all about finding that healthy balance
Yeah.
of healthy competition, as you say. Because ultimately, if you don't do that, you're just going to hinder yourself. You're going to box yourself in.
Literally, it's gonna hinder your gender.
You swipe left on Tinder.
Yeah.
Oh, Jinder, what a man! What a
but
man!
but no,
Amazing.
it's always important. I mean, to be fair, speaking on the topic still of hard work,
Yeah,
is there anything that, obviously you've mentioned a couple of things like the comedy show and stuff like that that you plan on working on. Is there anything that was more recent? Because we both spoke about how we worked on football, but like at this rate, that was fucking man.
a lifetime ago that.
That was years ago. Like I actually started playing football properly. We started six-a-side. What you said, like 2015, 2016, and
Yeah.
that's kind of it. Like, is there any? Have you got any like recent examples or like certain experiences where, yeah, something certain may have happened where like you might have not changed your opinion, but like it's given you a bit of a different outlook on sort of how to see like working hard and stuff like that. Would you say anyway?
Um, I think kind of off my head, um, kind of the one that springs to my head straight away is again, I'm just gonna call her out about it. My
Do it.
mother, shout out to Jackie. Um,
Hi, Jackie.
uh, she's probably watching this, won't she? With a bottle of wine and a cigarette in her hand. Uh, but no, like this is gonna sound. I don't want to come across kind of bad or anything, but it kind of answers the question. She very much is reactive, so she'll kind of something will happen, and she'll let other people jump in front of her to kind of sort the problem out, and she'll kind of just follow suit. You know what I mean? Like something will happen, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I'm not going to ask for help. I'm just going to expect the help, and then the problem will go away." And it ultimately that's like the worst attitude you can take, I think. So kind of experience from that, because it's happened more often than not in the past 5 years.
Right.
Experience taken from that is kind of like, if something happens or doesn't happen, you have the power to change it.
Yeah.
Is probably the best way to kind of describe it. And that's kind of led me to kind of different experiences in the past few years, and different of avenues I've gone down. And it's just, if you want to do it, go do it. There's
Yeah.
no one's going to stop you. The only person that's going to like stop you saying you can't do it is people that failed, and it's the people that haven't worked hard. You know,
Yeah.
it's a big circle.
Yeah. True. I mean, to be fair, that something like that. It does remind me of something, whether I've mentioned it on the podcast or not before. But I think in life as well, like I've come to realize, in the nicest way, you can't rely on anyone for
Yeah,
anything. Like, the way I like to see it, right, is for example, if I ask for something from someone, and they're like, yeah, 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 like, yeah, we can do that, yeah, I'll give this to you, whatever, and then it turns out that they don't. In my head, like, I start to see that as, instead of me being there like, oh, like what's wrong with you, this, that, and the other, I'm just there like, all right, I'll just go get it myself, probably.
all right.
Yeah, because like yeah, I think I learned the hard way that you can't rely on people like 100% of
Mhm.
the time. It's nice to put your trust in people and put faith in people, and stuff like that. But when it comes at the end of the day, I think if you start to expect the worst, so then when the worst happens, you're still prepared. But then if it doesn't happen, then that you have to know inside that it might not have happened, and you have to be grateful for it. And
Are you if I said to you, are you a person who believes everything happens for a reason?
yeah, I would go off of that. I think for me, a good example was when I first wanted to go to when I finished school. So when I finished year 11, my plan was to go and um, do music at like a music
Yeah,
college. But then I
yeah,
started, so I didn't go. Like after talks with like family and stuff like that, I ended up not going. And then I went to sixth form where we went, and then eventually I started doing coaching, and then I met you, and then all these things have happened basically that have led me to this point, where is something
Mhm.
something so simple where if I went and did kind of what I initially planned to do but then didn't, I wouldn't even be here. Like as bad as it sounds, for all we know, I might have not been alive by now. I might have been killed. I might be in a different country, different house. Like circumstances can change from something so
Mhm.
small because I wouldn't have met
Mhm.
like I probably wouldn't have met all the people who I'm like friends with now, you know. So I do feel like things do happen for a reason, you know. Me personally, I'm not religious, um, but you know, so obviously some people believe in God, some people are like spiritual, and obviously each of their own, isn't it? But like me personally,
Yeah.
I think everything's supposed to happen. So, like even if it's bad, it's bad because I feel like you need to be able to grow from it, and you need to be able to learn and take the good from the bad, and you know expand on it, and like you know there's always something good that happens from something bad. That's what I reckon anyway. You know,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I get you. I get
Yeah.
you.
Would you say you're the same, where you think things happen for a reason?
I guess I think yeah, for sure. That was a really wishy-washy answer there, wasn't it? Like I said, yeah. What I was trying to say was I did fully believe that,
Mm.
and I suppose I still do to this day believe that. It does get quite hard to kind of when the bad stuff happens to try and process it and be like,
Yeah.
this happens for a reason, but this is bad. What is the reason for it?
No, of course.
Um, but yeah, no, I think so. I think so. Because as you say, mate, like looking back on it, I wish I had done a few things differently. You're talking about going to music college
Mm.
after school. I wanted to take a gap year after year 11.
Right.
I had I'll probably touch on the story like later on as to why I wanted to take a gap year. But I wanted to take a gap year and I couldn't. The financial situations.
Mm.
So you're a single mom, you get child benefits. I understand her point. But that first year of sixth form, I really didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I did not want to be there. But then you kind of fast forward a little bit, and the second year was probably one of my favorite years I've ever had in
Right.
education. Um, and then the third year, I said, met yourself, met Luke, started coaching, and things spawned from it. So yeah, I guess everything does happen for a reason.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. Yeah. I would love to see what life would be like if, because some things in life just aren't in your control, like at all. Like obviously certain
That
things,
it's
but
stuff, done it. Stuff.
oh yeah, big time. But you know, I would like to think that a lot of things that I do are in my control, and I don't have to do certain things. Obviously, there's consequences. Something like I don't have to go to work, but if I don't go to work, I'm gonna get fired. But like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah.
but like at the end of the day, like you know, that kind of going back to what we were saying, like if you do, like you can basically just do what you want. Like I like again, I take the example of going to work. Like I'm going to work so I can earn money, so I can fund the things that I'm like dreaming. Like I dream to do sort of thing, like starting a podcast. If I didn't go to work, wouldn't have bought the mic, probably wouldn't have started the podcast in the first place.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like I do feel that. Shit, how have I lost my train of thought already?
I'll pick up. I'll pick up
Go
because
for it.
I've got I've spawned a train of thought from that.
Go for it. Go for it.
Leading on to you're saying like you're working to earn money to do the things you want. You go to the core of the conversation, whereas things happen for a reason. When I left my hometown, which I don't know if you've said where it is, so I don't want to
Go
be
for
that
it.
guy.
Doesn't matter. Go for it.
Shout out to Bournemouth.
I think we both mentioned it, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, But yeah, when I left that company, Bournemouth in the start of 2019, there was a lot of I'll be honest, I was worried, man. Like I was really worried in the sense of I have no idea what I want to do with my life. You come out of this massive ordeal, and it's like, okay, I've got a blank canvas now. How do I paint it?
Yeah.
Like, all the tools I have are for this one, this one domain, football and coaching. I can't use that. I can't use my FA coaching badge to go teach English at a primary school, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, I've got a blank canvas now. What can I do? And then you're sitting there, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna do what I enjoy. I'm going to try stuff, and maybe I'll love it, maybe I'll hate it, but at least I'm trying. So that's where you pick up. I think I had 2 fights last year.
Right.
I've had like 8 concussions, mate. Like, I don't. I definitely had one at the end of November. I remember
Bloody
that.
hell.
Yeah, no, we could probably talk about concussions at some point as well. Like that's a really. But yeah, I think I had 2 fights, and then I got involved theatre music, probably around the March time,
Yeah.
which like Shane, mate, I can't like the love when I first got into coaching, and I'm coaching with Chelsea and her family, and those other people. Like it was the most fun I had in ages. Like
Right.
legitimately the most fun I had in ages. And then you turn it, you progress and it doesn't become fun and whatever. Honestly, theatre music was the most fun I had ever. I think like it was challenging and it was nerve wracking because I'm standing up there. I'm like, fuck, I think I can sing, but also I think I can fucking do the ballet, and I've never done it in my life. So it's like and it's not just singing; it's about performance, it's about facial expression, it's about movement, it's about dialogue, it's about interaction with other people. So it's like all these things. But ultimately, I wouldn't have found out I enjoyed it if things didn't happen in Bournemouth. And it again comes back to everything happens for a reason,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm the same. Like obviously, where I started doing coaching, and then I didn't hate coaching, but I just knew I just needed to move on. I'd been doing it for too long to carry on. I'll probably end up going back to it someday, but at the moment it's kind of an absolute zero for me. But where I've kind of moved to a new job and it's like the polar opposite. Fuck's sake, I keep
Yeah.
knocking my desk. It's like the polar opposite of like, so coaching. Obviously, you're outside, you're speaking to people face to face. It's like obviously when we were coaching kids, so you're speaking to kids. I'm now working like an office job. And, I'm on the phone. I'm kind of sat down. I'm inside and stuff like that. And not that it like either of those two are bad things, but it's how you're going from like one dynamic to the other. And honestly, I've purely done it just for experience. Like
Yeah, for sure.
like if
For sure.
I went into it and I was thinking like, if I hate this, I hate it. I'm just gonna leave. Like when I get a chance. I don't have to be here. Like I'm doing this so I can learn and I can I might pick something up. I might meet someone who can guide me in a different direction or whatever. But I do agree where it is really important to get like experience where you can. Again, this circles all the way back round to like you can't stay in your comfort zone, otherwise you're just not going to get anywhere. But
Oh yeah.
but yeah, no, it's important to experience things and like move on and push things in life. I think for now, obviously starting the full-time job was kind of the most recent thing. Wherever I decide to go from there is just beyond me, if I'm honest. But
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
yeah,
Though.
exactly. But you know, it's the same. It's the only bit of advice I pass to everyone. You know, you have to push. I've said it like fucking 4 times already. But you know,
No, just say it again. You know, just hammer it home.
yeah, exactly. Push.
Yeah, do it.
but I mean, you know, it is kind of what it all comes down to. Is just how hard can you push yourself? Like it's all life is a mental game, and I'm winning. I'm winning.
Yeah, Shane. I'm in second place. I'm in second place behind Shane.
Right.
But no, I mean, you know, just before you change topic there, I just I for years said to everyone, I'm sure I said it to you, like, oh, I love Bournemouth. I'm never going to leave Bournemouth. You know, place is amazing, and I love Bournemouth to death. I will be back there one day, without doubt. But that honestly, during November 2018, when I was on hiatus for a little bit, I went up to Milton Keynes to see my sister, and I mean, I travelled to Southampton and Portsmouth by myself for like for the wrestling and for the MMA, and I've never been further than that by myself. So going up to London and then going to Milton Keynes, I remember standing in Waterloo Station, and there's thousands of people around there, and I remember saying to myself, I'm standing there, I remember saying to myself, like, no, know who I am. None of these people will have any idea my story or what I've gone through or what I'm doing or anything like that. I don't know any of these people. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because this is a clean slate. This is a brand new kind of experience.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the reasons why I moved to Winchester was if I didn't like it and I'd made a mistake, I would go back to Bournemouth. And I say, you know, a new job, new experiences, meeting new people. You know, I don't have a beach outside my house anymore, but I've got field upon fields, and it's fun, man. It's, you know, it's new experience and it's new challenge for sure.
Yeah. Right. Here's the plan for what we're going to do at the moment. Okay, we've been recording for 52 minutes and 20 seconds on the dot. So,
Oh fuck!
We are actually going to split this one into 2 parts. So this part is going to, in a moment, I'm going to turn this. It's going to fade to black, and I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger. And you have to watch the next episode just to see what we end up talking about.
You just have to.
Yeah.
You can't miss it.
Exactly. But
hey, Shane, before you hang up and go and whatnot, can I just say something to you people? But no, on like a serious note, I mean, I could probably say some things here, but I want to say it now. For everyone watching and everyone listening, yeah, this is for you mainly. I'm going to embarrass Shane in a minute, but
thanks.
You know, enjoy it. Now, on like a serious note, if you're listening and you've ever befriended me, or you've ever supported me, or you've ever had my back through anything, over the past, how old am I? 24. Over the past 24 years, thank you, and I hugely appreciate all the support and love you've ever sent me, especially over the past 5 years, with everything kicking off and going on in my life. I want to say like a special thank you to Mozza, because that man, he's just fucking. We piss around with his shirt collection. The dude's phenomenal. He's an absolutely amazing human being. Yeah, he deserves all the happiness and all the credibility in the world. And you know, Shane, dude, honestly, you know, whether it's 6 people watching it or 600 people, like, they need to know, like, how genuinely amazing you are, and how you yeah, I mean, you sit there and you're like, you said earlier, like, oh, you know, how you're hard working, this, that. You know, I was retired for 10 months last year. I didn't do fuck all for 10 months. Right, it was amazing. I walked dogs and vanilla coolers from Costa. But yeah, you and I discussed ages ago, like, I can't take any credit for you getting involved with coaching and, you know, being in the same company as me. You know, you did that all yourself, man. like, I have the utmost confidence that you achieve. Um, I mean, I can make this all soppy and emotional, but I'm not going to. The more so than it is. But no, Shane, honestly, mate, I can't thank you enough for everything. I'm sure the tempo will kind of change when Finn's here, or not.
Probably.
I don't know. Which is why I'm saying it now. I love Finn. So yeah, Shane, honestly, mate, thank you for help you've done for me. I love you to death. And if you, I got a perfect way to leave on a cliffhanger for you.
Oh, go on, go for it.
All right.